Welcome back to Tom's DIY Garage. I'm Tom, and this is my workshop. I'm glad you're here. Welcome back. So this week, I want to concentrate on organization. And as you look around my workshop, it's about 12 by 18 feet. It's not a terrible space. I would love it to be bigger, but it is what it is. I'm thankful for it. But as you look around, it's not a terrible mess, but there is some organization that could be imposed upon this place. Mrs. Zizka, who comes out periodically, looks around. She's very organized, and she kind of cringes at what I've got going out here. But it is my space, and I'm still kind of finding what I want to be where, and I could do a better job. This week, though, I want to concentrate on a cabinet just like this one. There we go, just like that one. I made it, and it's holding primarily glues and liquid products and maybe some instruction manuals for the machines that I have in here. But I need another one that will hold all of the various and sundry DIY and how-to books and manuals that I have, because sitting in a bucket is no good. I need it so that I can make a quick reference when I need an answer. So let's make a cabinet. It'll be very similar to this wall cabinet that I've already built. It'll stand a standard 30 inches tall, 24 inches wide, and 12 inches deep. We're using 3/4 inch particle board, which is a pretty affordable product and certainly strong enough for the application. Start with this 2-foot by 8-foot piece of the particle board. This is a heavy product if you've never tried to move it around. I had it cut down to size at the big box store to make it manageable for transport. What's nice is that it works perfectly for the dimensions that we're cutting. And as always, we are under the watchful eye of Xander, the shop dog. We'll cut this piece into 5 basic pieces. You have the back, you have the 2 sides, and then you have a top, a bottom, and 1 shelf. Those last 3 pieces will have a little bit of trimming along the ends so that they fit within the box. To make these cuts, I am going to use a track saw, which is pretty much what the name suggests. At its core, this is a handheld circular saw, but what makes it different is that it's got this aluminum track that you clamp down along the line that you want to cut. The saw clips into the track and zip, you make your cut. Before we cut anything though, safety first. Let's start with some safety glasses, because you certainly don't want flying bits of wood or whatever getting into your eyes. That would be bad. And then additionally, some sort of breathing protection, a mask here, because especially in enclosed spaces like this, but in general, you don't want to long-term breathe in sawdust, because it can get into your lungs deep in there and it can irritate, at the very least, worse for some people who might be susceptible to that sort of thing. Additionally, with this particle board, all of those little particles of wood, they're held together with an adhesive. So you cut that, that's flying around in the air. It's probably just a good idea not to breathe it in. Now, if you are not new to working with tools and you're there thinking, well, Tom, you could use a circular saw and do the same thing, you are correct. Pretty simple thing. You just measure the difference between where the edge of the saw is, where the blade is. You put your straight edge on your cutting surface, you lock it down, you run the saw, and you get a pretty reasonable cut. What I like about the track saw is that it takes, in my opinion, a lot of the guesswork out, because you start by putting the edge, the cutting edge, right along the line where you will cut. And then take these clamps, still clamps involved for your edge, run it through the channel on the bottom side. Lock it down, just like that. I have this clamp already on there for this camera-friendly angle. Sorry about that. And then you take the saw. Now think about this saw. There are really expensive ones, versions of this thing that you can get. I got a pretty reasonably priced one online. This is a Wen brand, and I have a number of their tools, and they're pretty reliable. They're pretty reasonably priced as well. They're not top of the line. They're not bargain basement either, but I think they do a really nice job. So back to this. The saw gets placed into the track and the various little locking mechanisms that are required. A little setup involved, you know. And you lock it down, all right? So it slides across the track. It's designed to slide in the direction that you're cutting, and it doesn't slide back very easily. So plug it in, just like that, and then we get back to the safety thing. We got the safety glasses, we got the mask, boy, this one's kind of involved, quite frankly. But it keeps the yucky stuff out. Okay, that didn't stick. Don't know why I'm challenged here. Okay. And then there is the issue of ear protection, which I didn't mention before, but is vitally important. So, this particular one kind of fell apart. So, I do have these. I can't hear anything. Protects my ears. It's a good thing. Let's do some cutting. So this saw, it plunges. So it offers some flexibility in different types of cuts that you might want to do. All right, let's cut. And you're done. Simple as that. Now that the cuts are done, time to make the box that is the cabinet. We have the back here. There are the two sides and a top and a bottom. There's one shelf. That'll come in later. But right now we have to concentrate on joining the wood together so that it stays structurally sound. There are so many different ways that you can join wood together. So many, in fact, I know there's at least one book on how to do it. Some of them are more decorative than others. All of them are structural. For this particular cabinet, what I'm going to use is glue and pocket screws, primarily because it's fast and it is strong, and it's going to serve my purposes as well. What are pocket screws? You've probably seen them, may not know exactly what they are. They're kind of little angular holes into the side of the wood, and in there is a screw. To do it, you use what's known as a pocket hole jig. This one wasn't terribly expensive. I got it about $50 several years ago. There are more elaborate ones, probably more user-friendly, that are more expensive. I'm going to keep running with this one until I have a good reason not to. So here's how it works. These are the sides of the cabinet here, and I have marked 3 spots where I'm going to put those screws in. And then you put the wood into the jig, and you center that line, that mark, where you want the screw to go on the jig. And then you lock the piece into place. See, it's pretty solid. And then drill. You put it into the hole that angles the drill bit, and then you let it rip. And then there is the hole. Again, the screw will go in at an angle once you glue this surface, and that provides some additional structure for the joint. The glue provides structure for the joint, and it shouldn't go anywhere. Once all the pocket holes have been drilled, you can get to assembling the box here. Again, this is one of the sides of the box, and you'll recall that we are gluing here, and this is a waterproof interior-exterior glue that I use. It's called Tight Bond 3. There are other types, but this one really works really well. It offers a lot of flexibility and versatility for different projects. I know some woodworkers get very particular about what kind of glue they use for what kind of circumstance, and part of it, to me, to my sometimes untrained eye, it seems a little silly, but there's probably some validity to it as well. Again, I use this one until I find that doesn't work, and then I will, through trial and error, find something that works. And then we are using these screws, pocket hole screws. It's got this flat little pan head here that sits fairly flat and flush inside that pocket hole, but most importantly is the tip of it. It is designed to self-tap, to bite into the wood, which is what you want it to do. All right, so let's get to it here. As I noted, this is the side here, and with the glue, you want to not have that thing dangling about all over the place. So I'm going to squeeze a little bead of glue down the center of it. The particle board is fairly porous, so you may find that that the glue kind of seeps into those holes, but I think this is probably a good idea as well. You want to spread the glue across the surface. That increases the amount of space that the glue is gluing and holding when you put it all together, as opposed to just keeping it that one little bead in the middle. This spreads it out and increases your holding power. So we're going to put the pocket holes on the interior of the box and start kind of eyeball. Set that place along the edge, make sure everything is flush, and then I have these 90-degree aluminum angles. These are holders, basically, to help you maintain when you're building a box like this, to keep that 90-degree angle fairly standard and not flopping around. So Mrs. Zizka got these for me for Christmas a couple of years ago. I've not had a chance to use them a lot, but when you're just one person in a workshop, this can really aid in, you know, keeping everything. It's like an extra set of hands, really. So clamp on that one side, and then clamp on the other. There we go. Tighten it down. And then once you have it tightened, you know, adjust as necessary, you know, forward and back so that everything is flush, while that glue is still offering some movement so that you can adjust as necessary. One little tighten down here, and then this is now being held with the help of this brace here at a 90-degree angle. We can do the other one over here. Yep, just like that. And hold that down, but I don't have those, I don't have the brackets all assembled here, so I don't want to waste your time here. But while this is being held, we're in pretty good shape here. So take your screws and your screwdriver. In this case, it's a drill. You want to make sure that you are at the drill setting, rather the screw setting as opposed to the drill setting. One is slow with lots of torque, the other one has lots of power. And then there's a little hole there in the middle of the pocket hole, and then just like that, you have set that pocket hole screw. And we have two more on this side. And be careful when you're doing this that the piece with the glue doesn't drift at all, because that glue kind of, while it's still wet, has some, you know, ability and flexibility to shift. So just like that, you got one piece attached. Now you have to do all the others. After just a little bit of trial and error, the cabinet is now assembled. I found that piece of particle board was leaning up against the wall of my workshop, and it developed a little bit of a bow to it. Consequently, some of the cuts were off just a little bit, trimmed up. It works fine, it all fits. The shelf is installed to have these cleats to provide some added stability. And then I also put a couple of screws into the side to keep the cabinet from bowing outwards. Just added stability. All that's left now is to hang it, and for that I am using what's known as the French cleat system, C-L-E-A-T. That's what these horizontal strips of wood are on the side of the wall. They are cut at a 45-degree angle, just like that. This is the part that faces out. This is the part that's attached to the wall. And then the other half of that gets attached to whatever it is you're hanging, in this case, this cabinet. And it fits onto the other half, just like that, just like it's meant to be, back together again, and it holds that whatever, in this case the cabinet, tightly on the wall. I've installed the French cleat. It is right here. It's locked on with 10 screws to hold it. You may recall me saying that particle board is heavy material, and this is where you really notice it, because the only way you can get it up there is to pick it up and hang it on the wall. Get it positioned just right. There we go. Boom. Now I understand boom may be an odd term to use. We don't want to give any idea that this thing's going to fall off the wall, because it's not. It's not going anywhere. Now I use the term to signify that the job was done. It's complete after a few hours worth of work. I've built a cabinet to hold my growing collection of DIY fix-it resources. So the next time I'm doing one of those things, I don't have to go searching for that stuff. It'll be right here. And it provides some organization. As you recall, we mentioned at the front end of all of this that is growing in this space. It is also here for you as well, because you may have some DIY ideas, some DIY questions that you'd like some answers to. That's why I'm here. That's what this stuff is here. So hit me up on email, hit me up on Facebook or Twitter/X. Let me know what you're thinking about DIY stuff you'd like to see done. If I can find an answer for it, that's what this whole thing is all about. And we'll do it right here in Tom's DIY Garage. Until next time, I'll see you.